Alright guys, I'm down right now, but don't worry, Timothy's here to help. He's gonna bring out his secret weapon, which is gonna save the day. The secret weapon is gone. This year seems to be the year that well-established developers branch out to make games they aren't typically known to make. First we had Elden Ring Night Rain, where FromSoft tackled roguelites, and now we have FBC Firebreak from Remedy, which is their take on the co-op shooter genre. Whenever these kinds of games come out, I really can't help but think of Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, given that they were such big pioneers in this genre. They have spawned so many games which took clear inspiration from them, but also infused their own creativity and ideas as well. FBC Firebreak is the newest addition to the roster. So, does it belong to the same tier of favorite children like Deep Rock Galactic and GTFO? Unfortunately, no. Rather, Firebreak is more like that one child you quietly lock away in the basement and hope that no one would ask about.
Can I meet the family? You've overstepped. No Christmas.
Remedy is known for deeply atmospheric, story-driven, paranormal-heavy games, and Firebreak does a surprisingly good job of fusing that tone with the chaos of co-op shooter. The problem? Pretty much everything else. Its strongest asset is the setting, which is dripping with unsettling vibes. Drawing from the real world a little too closely, Firebreak perfectly simulates what it's like to work in a defunded US government agency in 2025. In lore, it takes place 6 years after Control, with the oldest house still under lockdown from the Hess invasion. Trapped employees volunteer for Firebreak, a suicide mission initiative to keep the house from collapsing as a containment unit. It's a clever setup, and it taps into one of the most quietly horrifyingly scenarios imaginable, being stuck at your job with your coworkers for years. In all seriousness, the setting of the game carries it heavily. You can almost ignore most of the problems the game has when you immerse yourself in the Control universe totally. Besides that, however, the game doesn't quite reach the high standard Remedy is known for. At first glance, the gameplay looks really deep. Lots of systems, status effects, abilities, but once you dig in, you realize that it's all surface level. Take the much hyped element system for example. It sounds exciting on paper, but it can be summed up in one word: shower.
You're stinky! Why? Why are you stinky? You smell! Go shower!
You're on fire? Take a shower. You're irradiated? Take a shower. Your wife just left with the kids because she can't appreciate how much you're grinding at the casino? Just take a shower, baby. Or use the Splash Crisis kit and douse yourself in water. For a game built around elemental effects, you can actually do very little with them. Offensively, you're mostly limited to just water and electricity, basically just use your water gun and then zap with a jump kit. Other than that, it's mostly reactive. The game should have built upon this, giving players more crisis kits which have different effects, having more interactions between elements. There were a lot of room for creativity, but nobody really bothered to explore it. The game is also way too easy, like Weenie Hot Junior level of difficulty. Enemies will drop after 1 to 2 bullets, and you can easily outrun them if they get too close. Even the elite enemies, which are sent in periodically to amp up the challenge, aren't difficult at all. Holy shit! Andy Thompson from accounting? This is getting serious.
If it's more sticky notes, I scream.
Alright, I beat him. For a class-based co-op shooter, Firebreak has a baffling lack of build variety. You basically only get 3 classes, and these don't synergize well with each other besides the water-electricity combo I mentioned. So instead of feeling like a badass team of paranormal experts who must work with each other to succeed, you feel like 3 Call of Duty soldiers running around, each mostly focusing on their own thing. In terms of skills, this game suffers the exact same problem as games like Night Rain do. Way too much focus on stat increases or doing something you already can do, except better. So things like reloading faster, sprinting for longer, taking 4% less damage while doing the hokey pokey behind a rock with your thumb up your ass. Developers, please, I'm begging you. We're human beings. Human beings like skills that actually change how we interact with the game, not just turn up the numbers up a little bit. Especially in a universe built around the weird and paranormal, where the ceiling of creativity should be off the charts. Now, to be fair, some of the skills do have potential because they pair well with certain crisis kits, but the game fucks this up royally with the difficulty. See this gameplay footage here. I was tired of people not zapping enemies after I sprayed them, so I grabbed a skill that gives my bullets a chance to apply electricity. Smart, right? I also equipped the machine gun because more bullets equals more chances to apply electricity. Big brain time. But then, I quickly realized that all my efforts were for nothing, because even on extreme difficulty, most enemies die in like 2 bullets. The status effect never even has the time to apply. I was able to somewhat salvage this build by equipping a shot grenade, but at that point I might as well just throw a regular grenade. Also, I gotta mention that some skills are straight up broken, like Shake It Off. This skill literally allows you to remove status effect by fucking jumping, so it makes almost every other skill in the status effect tree obsolete. Lastly, there are also no loadout saving system either, so you can't even save any of the shitty builds you made. Want to switch your loadout from one that focuses on repairing and carrying stuff around to one that focuses on combat? Go to your loadout page and literally rebuild your entire loadout from the ground up. What the fuck? This is probably the biggest complaint that most have against the game. So in the beginning of Control, there's a side mission where Faden has to toss trash into a haunted furnace in order to do a thing or something. I don't know, to be honest. Even to this day, a lot of Control story doesn't make any sense to me. But someone in Remedy saw this side quest while overdosing on Xanax and was like, this is freaking genius. Let's make an entire game out of it. And that, kids, is how we got Firebreak. Almost every single mission you do in this game is the least fun or interesting content in Control. This game is pretty much a chore simulator. You must repair cooling fans, get rid of radioactive leeches so the oldest house doesn't become the next Fallout, repair resonators, and other exhilarating stuff. Guys, I get that we play as volunteers who don't even have superpowers, so we can't go around cleansing corrupted objects of power or dive into other dimensions. I get it, we literally are just regular office workers being handed a gun one day and asked to take on interdimensional threats, but still, I would like to see more variety and excitement in my objectives, you know? But here's the kicker. You only get 5 of these missions at launch. Just 5. You can adjust the length of these missions to make them longer, which will increase the number of rewards you get. In these additional parts, you're just doing the same chores again, except in the last part where you're asked to do a slightly different chore. It's not fun, it's not engaging, it's just something like, oh, I repair 30 cooling vents. Now I must shove 30 barrels of coolant in this furnace to shut it down so I can repair it. Yay. Now, Remedy has promised more post-launch content for free, new missions, kits, and all that, and that's great, but that doesn't change the fact that what is here now feels lazy, stripped down, and unworthy of the price tag. The only reason why I was able to continue playing was because of how immersive and fascinating the Control universe is, but if that was the only thing that hooked me, I can't in good conscience call this a good game. It's just a shorter and worse version of every other game in the genre. If Firebreak was only released for $30 or even $20, I don't think I would be this harsh towards it, but it's released at $40. Look, I really appreciate Remedy taking a shot at something outside of their comfort zone, but this was a half-court lob which went over the backboard and hit some poor elderly woman who came to the game with her grandson. There's also a whole host of issues I didn't mention. For instance, this game has no fucking voice chat or text chats. I mean, come on guys, what year is this? Oh yeah, as a huge Remedy and Control fan, this was probably the most disappointing game of the year for me. And I think we can all learn a very valuable lesson from it. The lesson being that you fucking suck ass at everything outside of your comfort zone and you should never try anything new because you would die alone either way.